I cracked 2 eggs into a pan last week. I bought some from a supermarket in a standard carton, a well-known brand, a price so low it barely registered. The other ones I got it from a woman down the road who keeps 8 hens in her backyard and sells her surplus eggs for a few dollars a dozen. The difference was so visible I stopped and stared. The supermarket egg spread thin across the pan. The yolk was pale, almost yellow-white, sitting flat, barely holding its shape. The backyard egg sat up. The yolk was a deep orange, almost burnt-looking, dense and rounded like a small dome. They looked like two different foods entirely. I ate both. The backyard egg tasted like something. The supermarket egg tasted stale, for lack of a better word. So I started asking the question I should have asked years ago. What exactly happened to the egg, and when did it happen? Because something changed between the egg my grandmother cracked every morning and the one sitting in my refrigerator right now. Something specific. Something documented. After my extensive research, I established the answer involves a decision made by the American poultry industry in the 1950s that restructured how hundreds of millions of animals live and what their bodies are able to produce. To understand what changed, I need to tell you what an egg actually is when nothing has interfered with it. A hen living her natural life spends her day foraging. She scratches in soil. She hunts insects and worms. She eats wild grasses and seeds. She bathes in sunlight. Every one of those activities transfers something into the egg she produces. The insects give her omega-3 fatty acids. The green plants give her carotenoids, the pigments that make a yolk deeply orange. The sunlight synthesizes vitamin D. The worms provide B12. The egg that results from this life is nutritionally extraordinary. In 1988, researcher Artemis Simopoulos compared eggs from hens foraging on pasture in Greece with standard U.S. commercial eggs. She found the pastured eggs contained 13 times more omega-3 fatty acids than the American supermarket egg. 13 times. Just imagine that. That is not a marginal difference. That is a different food. A 2007 study commissioned by Mother Earth News tested eggs from 14 pastured flocks across the United States, compared them against USDA standard data for commercial eggs, and found pastured eggs contained 2/3 more vitamin A, 3 times more vitamin E, 7 times more beta-carotene, and twice the omega-3 fatty acids of their supermarket equivalent. In 2010, Penn State University researchers published findings in Renewable Agriculture and Food Systems, confirming pastured eggs had twice the vitamin E, 2.5 times the total omega-3 fatty acids, and 38% more vitamin A than eggs from hens fed only commercial mash in cages. 3 independent research teams, the same conclusion each time. The egg in your carton is not the egg your body was designed to eat. I spent time tracing exactly when this happened. The timeline is specific. Before 1950, almost all eggs in America came from farm flocks. Hens lived outdoors, scratched in yards, and ate whatever they could forage, supplemented by feed. Eggs were a seasonal product, production dropped significantly in winter, which is why families stored eggs in water-glass solution through the cold months. The egg your grandmother ate was, in almost every nutritional sense, closer to the pastured egg from my neighbor's backyard than to anything in a supermarket carton today. Then three things happened in rapid succession across the 1950s, each driven by the same logic: maximum production, minimum cost, maximum shelf life. The first was confinement. By 1955, battery cage systems, metal wire cages stacked in tiers, holding 4 to 5 hens each, were being rolled out at commercial scale across American egg production. A single shed could now hold thousands of birds. The hens never touched soil. They never saw direct sunlight. They never scratched for an insect or foraged a blade of grass. They ate a standardized mix of corn, soy, and synthetic additives, formulated to produce the maximum number of eggs in the minimum amount of time. The National Chicken Council's own industry history records that by the mid-1960s, vertical integration, one company controlling every stage from breeding through slaughter, had captured 90% of broiler production. The cage model followed the same logic for laying hens. What those hens could not eat, their eggs could not contain. No forage, no carotenoids, no insects, no omega-3s, no sunlight, no vitamin D. The nutrition of the egg became a direct reflection of the impoverishment of the hen's life. And because the hen's life was redesigned entirely around production efficiency, the egg lost everything that made it nutritionally extraordinary. The second was the washing process. In 1970, the USDA perfected and standardized a mechanical egg washing system that became effectively mandatory for commercial producers. Eggs are run through warm water and treated with a sanitizing solution, usually chlorine-based, at concentrations regulated by the FDA. The goal was eliminating Salmonella bacteria from the shell surface. The problem is structural. An egg is born with something called the bloom, a natural cuticle coating that seals the shell's pores, keeps bacteria out, and keeps moisture in. The bloom is the egg's own defense system. The washing process removes it entirely. Once the bloom is gone, the egg is vulnerable. This is why every commercial egg in America must be refrigerated from the moment it is washed, and why breaking the cold chain, even briefly, creates real contamination risk. Europe made the opposite decision.
If cleaned in properly, the UK and almost all of the world except the US believe that eggs should not be washed or cleaned before they're sold to consumers. As far as dirty eggs are concerned, the EU's egg marketing law encourages good husbandry on farms. Because eggs can't be cleaned or washed, it's in the farmer's best interest to produce the cleanest eggs possible, as no one is going to buy their eggs if they're dirty.
Most EU countries prohibit washing eggs before they reach consumers. Instead, they vaccinate laying hens against Salmonella upstream, eliminating the contamination before it reaches the egg. The EU approach keeps the bloom intact. European eggs sit on unrefrigerated supermarket shelves. They enter the kitchen with their natural protective system undisturbed. These two systems exist simultaneously, on the same planet, for the same food. The difference was a regulatory choice, not a scientific necessity. The third was the feed. When hens moved indoors permanently, their natural diet disappeared with their access to the outdoors. What replaced it was formulated for efficiency. Standard commercial hen mash is primarily corn and soy, the cheapest available calorie sources, both heavily subsidized by the U.S. government, supplemented with synthetic vitamins, minerals, and in some operations, antibiotics. Corn and soy are not what a chicken's body evolved to process. They are high in omega-6 fatty acids and low in omega-3s. A hen who eats primarily corn and soy produces an egg with a dramatically skewed omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, sometimes as high as 20-to-1. The optimal ratio for human health is widely estimated at 4-to-1 or lower. The Penn State study found pastured eggs had less than half the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of caged eggs. Here is the part that I found genuinely enraging when I looked into it. I assumed that buying free-range or cage-free eggs at the supermarket solved the problem. I was wrong. The USDA definition of free-range for egg-laying hens requires only that the birds have access to the outdoors. It specifies no minimum time outdoors, no minimum space outdoors, no requirement that the birds actually use the outdoor access. Cage-free is even more misleading. It means only that hens are not in individual cages. They may still live in a densely packed warehouse, never touching soil or sunlight, eating identical corn-soy mash, producing an egg with nearly identical nutritional deficiency to the caged equivalent. The egg industry spent $20 million annually through the American Egg Board, the industry's own promotional body, to shape the public conversation around eggs. This is the same organization that, when Mother Earth News published its nutritional comparisons, showing pastured eggs dramatically outperforming commercial eggs, responded publicly that egg nutrients are most likely similar, regardless of how hens are raised. The Mother Earth News study had laboratory results from 14 farms. The industry had a $20 million annual budget and a preference for the public not asking which eggs they were actually eating. I keep coming back to those two eggs in my pan. Same species, same genus, laid by birds we call by the same name. But one of them was produced by a hen who had never touched soil, never seen direct sunlight, never caught an insect, whose entire existence was a wire cage and a corn-soy formula engineered for maximum output. And the egg she produced reflects that life exactly. The nutrition in an egg is not a fixed property of eggs. It is a record of how the hen who laid it actually lived. When the industry redesigned the hen's life for profit in the 1950s, it redesigned the egg's nutritional content at the same time, and sold you the result as the same food your grandmother ate. It is not the same food. Please let me know in the comments, when did you first notice that a farm egg and a supermarket egg looked or tasted completely different? I read every response. Your answers shape what this channel investigates next. For the algorithm to push this video further, to create more awareness, hit subscribe.